If you're tired of feeling like you're playing running simulator in PUBG, these tips will fix and level up your game quickly. The two main things when it comes to recoil control that I want to highlight in this video. The first is the benefit you gain from the right attachments, as well as the benefit that you gain from crouching. So I mean the right attachments like the muzzle brake, compensator, vertical foregrip, even tactical stock, thumb grip, those are all good attachments to have on your gun to help improve recoil control, specifically vertical recoil control, which most people find to be the hardest. The second thing, which is crouching, gives you an extra 15% to your vertical recoil control, and I don't think that's explicitly stated anyway. So before you start a gunfight, just crouch down, lean around the corner, and knock that guy out. The other thing to remember with recoil control is that practice makes perfect. Now, some people like to go and play a little bit of deathmatch to sort of practice and get their eye in before starting up matches. I personally like to go either into the training arena and just shoot at some targets, but alternatively I also sometimes just play a casual game, which is against a bunch of bots and a couple of real players. And that casual game allows me to practice all of the skills that I normally need in PUBG to actually win a game, including recoil control, just shooting people. Of course, movement is important in PUBG, but the most important time for movement is at the start of your game, especially if you're hot dropping and there's a bunch of other people. It becomes a race to the first weapons that you can find. Now, the way I practice my movement is just in the pre-game lobby. Most of the players would just sort of stand statically in that lobby doing nothing, and I use them to create a pseudo obstacle course for myself. So the goal of this practice is just to move through the players in sort of like a slalom without touching any of them, without getting stuck on terrain or any of the people. Now, this allows me to more efficiently move through the world when I first drop into a city or like wherever I'm dropping in my team. And that efficiency allows me to get to the weapons more quickly. So let's just have a look here at how pro teams actually rotate when it comes to the circle. This is the most recent PGC esports tournament, and this is Erango, but I just want to use this to highlight how people actually rotate, especially when it comes to professionals in PUBG. So the team we want to look at here is specifically Cerberus Esports, because they were the winners of this match. So they landed a split here. There's Ferry in these houses and up here and there. Got lucky with the first circle. They're pretty deep in it, but watch what happens in this circle. They decide to move even a bit deeper into the circle. What this allows them to do is so notice here that they basically center circle, okay? What this allows them to do is rotate less, especially in the first few zone rotations of the circle. So I mean, if you're closer to the center, you're less likely to have to move, because being deeper into the circle, especially for the first few zones, allows you to rotate less. It gives you more opportunity to shoot other people who are rotating into the circles, and it exposes you to less risk, because every time you need to move into zone, there's the chance that somebody can be lying in wait for you at at the edges of the zone or at any of the various compounds that are available. The other interesting thing that also happens here that you have to notice is that the majority of the teams are within the zone even before like the blue gets near them. Like there's a couple of teams up here, there's one straggler over here and one here. The rest of the teams are basically already in circle, and it's only starting to close now. So the way they loot and move into the zone is a lot more efficient than what you will see in your casual matches. And boom, next circle pops, and they don't really have to move. They're already close to the center again. Okay, so notice here, I mean, this is what, like the third circle or fourth? Cerberus has basically not moved from this spot until now. And I mean, at this point, they have a forward scout here that can give them information, which is very important. When you rotate, you need to know the information of which compounds have people in. Is it safe to move to one? You need to recon a location before you move to it. So they have this forward scout, and the rest of their team can just basically move in with the zone. So at this point, it's not that important to move to the center anymore. Again, depending on what locations are available and what the center actually looks like. But Cerberus are content here to just slowly move into the zone as the blue pushes them in, just taking up the space near the edge now. And just playing from this spot, and they got a little bit lucky with the next zone again, but I mean, that's PUBG. So I mean, at this point of the match, you really don't want to go to the center where everybody can shoot to you from the outside, unless the position is very good. Like I said, it's very context specific, but here Cerberus is more content to just play around the outside. They know there's a team here. They probably heard shots over on this side. They just play their advantage here. They eliminate that team, and then they slowly move into the circle well before the blue zone actually reaches them, right? This brings us to tactical positioning. Okay, so it's very important the way you position yourself before or during a fight. The most important thing here is to have cover close by. So when you're engaging an enemy, have cover close by like this, right? Let's say the enemy is over there. You peek out from cover over here. You can lean. Leaning is very good and should be used as much as possible. And as soon as you shoot them a couple of times, let's say you either down them, or otherwise you pop back into cover and they start shooting back, and they hit this, they hit that, and you are safe. But beyond that, you should also keep in mind not to peek the same angle twice. The enemy man is there, or let's say at this cover, you peek around here and you shoot at him. He's going to expect you to come around this corner again. So what you should rather do is either go around the other side, maybe back up a little bit, stand up and pop him over there. So those are some useful tips to keep in mind when shooting at people and engaging enemies. Tactical positioning can also entail off angles, so maybe you get onto the roof of some building that nobody is expecting. But as a general rule of thumb, high ground is also very useful to have. So in this clip, you can see the person was above me, but he just had the better position on me. The last tip I have for PUBG is that you should be having fun. People sometimes forget this in competitive games, but it is a game. It's alright to, especially if you're playing normal games, just like go and do crazy things. Try and shoot a person with a panzer out of your UAZ as you drive by them, or I don't know, lay a spike strip and then set up an ambush, or I don't know, plant C4 on your bike and try and drive into the enemy. Do something crazy and just keep it light, keep it fun. Don't rage at your teammates, especially in normal games.